right, it looks like we're live. Welcome everyone. Welcome to, or happy Monday I should say, and welcome to Adobe Creative Cloud. Today we're going to be talking about how to build your online portfolio and how to maintain it using Adobe Creative Cloud's portfolio, My Portfolio. It's actually part of your existing membership. So you don't have to pay anything extra for it. It's built right in. It's been sitting there for years, and if you haven't taken advantage of it, there's no time like the present. So welcome everyone that's coming in from all over the world. I see you. Let's see if I can get some names going on here. Hello, Victoria. Hello, Run First, or Run is First. Hey, Dan, Simon, Osama, and I'm not going to pronounce your name because I'll do it incorrectly, but hello, it looks like it's Russian. Welcome everyone, and Ola, Douglas, and everyone else here from all over the various parts of the country and the world that you guys are from. So with that said, without further ado, and I could of course sit here and give shout outs to Jason and Lil Bazooka and everyone else that just got in here, but I think we should go ahead and get started with today's topic. So welcome. If I didn't call your name out, glad you're here, and hopefully I'll get a chance to interact with you throughout the stream. So once again, we're going to be talking about Adobe Portfolio and how you can use it, how you can customize it, how you can make it your own, how you can update it, how you can bring in your existing content that you've already created directly into it, depending on what that content is, and how to get it, how to even use your own domain if you want to. So with that said, let me go ahead and pop over to my computer. And on my computer, I'm sitting here on the Adobe homepage. So I just went to adobe.com and I signed in with my Adobe ID. I just wanted to show you that once you're signed in, you have the ability to go in. Let me just click one thing here. You have the ability to go in and see all your Creative Cloud services. So if you've been missing something, everything above my head, those are all your services, including the one right up there that says Portfolio Website. So this one right here. So Portfolio Website, if you were to click on that, that would take you right into it. The other way to get to it directly, you don't always have to go to adobe.com. You can go in and just simply go to the main site, which is myportfolio.com. And the same thing, you sign in with your Adobe ID, and you can either begin the process of creating your portfolio or edit an existing portfolio if you've already started one. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you how to start all the way from scratch because once you build it, there's really no way to delete it. You can take it offline, you can edit it, and I've set mine as back to the default layout and gotten rid of all my extra pages as much as I could, but I can't totally get rid of it so I can start from scratch. That might be something I might ask the portfolio team for as a feature for us to demo this product, because there's no way for us to, once we start it, there's no way for us to go back and unstart it so we can start it again for the next group. So mine says edit your portfolio. But I assume if you've just started out and you haven't built one yet, yours is going to say something like start your portfolio or begin your portfolio or something to that effect. Now, you can look at an overview, that's what the page we're on now. You can scroll down. You can see some examples. There are tons of pages of examples, so you can click on them and see them and dive in and kind of get some ideas for what you might want on your portfolio. It kind of gives you some of the things we're going to be talking about. So there's Behance integration. So if you've already got projects on Behance, you can go ahead and pull those right in. You don't have to worry about having to build those from scratch over again. And if you don't have projects in portfolio, or I'm sorry, in Behance, don't worry, you don't have to have them in Behance. You can just start from scratch. It's optimized. This is the big thing I had been waiting for, which we did this over a year ago now. The biggest thing I was waiting for is that the original portfolio site that we acquired from Behance wasn't responsive. It wasn't optimized for mobile devices. Now it is. So no matter which template you build, no matter how you customize it, it should remain optimized for any device, any screen. And like I said, you can bring in your own domain names. You can use typekit fonts. My favorite feature is that I can pull in my photos from Lightroom Mobile. So if I've synced anything from Lightroom Mobile, I can go ahead and pull those in. There's a brand new feature for photo grids. We'll talk about that. And there's even password protection of the entire site or individual galleries. So you've got the ability of doing that as well. I don't understand why building these isn't built into Muse, because they're just two totally different things. Muse is designed to build any kind of website for any purpose. This is specifically designed for portfolios. So it's just, they're two totally separate things. They're both building a website, but one is for building custom websites from the ground up from scratch. This is strictly for portfolios. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and go to layout, or actually let's go ahead and go and edit my portfolio. Oh, actually, and before we do that, although I stripped my portfolio down to the basics, I took out everything, the other thing I didn't do is I didn't publish my changes. So my existing portfolio is still there. The one I had been experimenting with and playing with, since I didn't publish my changes, it's still here. But now if I were to publish it, it would be pretty empty. There would be nothing there anymore. It's because it's all gone. I've deleted it all. But because I didn't publish the changes, the old site is still there. So my portfolio on Adobe Portfolio is at terrywhite.myportfolio.com. So if you were to head there right now, you would see this old version, the one that I had been working on previously, to taking it all back down to scratch. So this one will still work, and as I said earlier, no matter which layout you pick, it is responsive. So as I pull this in, it just automatically adapts to maybe more of a tablet size screen in portrait mode, to a small desktop screen, or a bigger tablet in landscape mode, to a full-size desktop screen. And that's the great part about this, is that when you're building your portfolio, all you have to do is concentrate on what you want on your portfolio. You don't have to worry about the HTML and the coding that goes on behind the scenes. All right, so the next thing is you have the ability to have custom pages. So for example, I have an About Me page. My galleries page is the one we're on now, where you can go in and look at the galleries. I have a link out to my blog. So my blog is a separate WordPress site at terrywhite.com, and that would let you go out to the blog. The other thing is that you have the ability to go to other sites. So for example, my actual photography site is at terrywhitephotography.com. So I have a link to that. And then there's a contact me form as well. So yeah, I agree that we should have as much cross-pollination of the products as possible, and you should be able to have a theme and Muse and Dreamweaver and everything else. It's just not there today. So go ahead and make those suggestions at adobe.com in the feedback area. All right, let's go ahead and jump over, and let's click on Edit My Portfolio, which, like I said, is going to be very basic. There's nothing here anymore because I've, this morning, deleted it all out. The only thing I left was I did leave the About Me page. The Galleries page just has no projects in it, and I did leave my custom, social media icons, and I'll show you how to edit those and make them whatever you want them to be. But those are the only things I left. Everything else is gone. Now, let's go ahead, and before we even start customizing this one, let's go ahead and switch layouts, because I don't want that default layout. I want to go ahead and switch to a different layout. And as I hover over these layouts, I have the choice of just going ahead and saying, yep, that's the one I want, use it, or let me view a live example of it first, see if it's what I want. And if it's what I want, I'll stick with it. If not, I'll move on. Some of these will focus more on like people that have lots of projects and or galleries, like this one. Some of them will focus on people that have mostly photography and they just want big, beautiful images. Maybe they don't have a ton of galleries. Some of these will have a dark background, like this one. So it's totally up to you to decide which one you want to start with. And no matter which one you pick, you can customize most of it to what you want. I think I had chosen this one before because I just really like how gigantic the images were on it, and I just like the way they showed off photography, since my portfolio is more photography than anything else. All right, but we'll pick a different one for now. Let me pick one I have not used yet. I thought I saw one up here. I have used that one. Because if it says continue editing, that means I've used it before. If it says use this layout, then that means I haven't used it before. Because sometimes I'll just switch layouts just for the heck of it. All right, so let's go ahead and use this one. Use this layout. All right, so one moment, please. And now it has switched the theme and look and feel over to this new layout. So now the navigation, you'll notice, is up in the right-hand corner, whereas before it was in the middle across the top. And then I've got my name up here, which I can, of course, I believe, change that to a logo. Each layout's a little different, so some may allow you to put a logo in, some may not. And which template someone's asking which template am I using? I just switched to it and already forgot the name of it. Let's go back. I am using Thomas. Thomas is the one I'm currently using. The one I was using before Thomas, the one that's still live, I believe, nope, it wasn't that one. It was one with all the stuff across the top. I believe it was Marta. I think that's the one I was using. I just took off that red background off the top. So before I switched over to Thomas just now, the site I think that's already still there, or the one that was published previously, is using Marta. All right, so let's go ahead and go forward. And now that we're here, what can we do? So as you hover over each thing, for example, I'm on the projects page, so it's letting me add or change the way this is going to look. As you hover over an area you want to change, if you want to change it, that's what the little pencil is for on the left-hand side. So if I want to change this where it says Terry White, whatever I want to see what I can change or do whatever it is I can change, then I can go ahead and click on this and click Customize. So at this point, it's showing me what I can do. And this is what I mean by you can really get down and dirty into just about every little aspect of it. So I can leave the text, Terry White, as it is, or I can go to the logo container. And if I go back to the site title and go to image, I can actually upload that image to go there in its place. So if I say upload image, which my logo actually does have my name on it, so I don't need both necessarily. Let's go back to Documents, and I keep my logo in my Terry White Photography folder, which is right there, and I keep my logo right here. How convenient was that? All right, so actually we'll do the final two one. All right, so let's go ahead and pull that in. It's going to be huge, because I didn't size it down. I didn't tell it how big to be. So that logo is way too big. I don't need it to be that big in the upper left-hand corner. So the nice thing is that you can also go ahead and just simply put in a max width. So I don't want it to be that big, but I don't want to have to go to Photoshop first, scale it down, and then put it here. So question, someone's asking, can you have more than one portfolio? No. You get one portfolio, meaning overall portfolio, per Creative Cloud account. However, there's nothing stopping you from having multiple galleries, projects, pages, so forth and so on. So you get one portfolio, so I get one Terry White portfolio, but I could have design, photography, video, and then those go off onto different pages, but I only get the one. All right, so let's go ahead and change the max width. Let's go ahead and make it, let's try 150. 150 is about right. So 150 pixels maximum width, and whether or not it will be responsive, I can say how small to make it. So as it gets smaller, don't make it any smaller than 60 for the height. All right, so next up, since I'm not doing text anymore, I'm gonna go ahead and stick with the image. I'm gonna say done. And it just kind of updated that in the web. Again, I haven't made the site go live, but it's now made the changes. So if I were to quit out of my browser, I don't have to ever click save. It's doing that behind the scenes. Is this free or do you need a paid CC subscription? This is one of those where you need a subscription. So I know I show a lot of things that don't, like apps and things that don't require a subscription. This is one of the subscriber features. So Andrea, you will need a subscription to use this. And you're welcome. Is it R.L. Simmons? You're welcome. So with that said, okay, I've changed that to be what I want it to be. Now what's over here? What's this stuff? What can I do here? So I'll click on the pencil for that, and I'll go to, it's the navigation bar. I'll go to customize. And as you can see, this is where I did the social profiles. Unfortunately, you don't get to put in like your own. You can only use the ones that are here. Now, it's nothing stopping you from putting in an image somewhere that has a link. But as far as social profiles that show up in the social profile area, you only get to use the ones that are built in. So I have my Twitter, my Behance. I didn't put my LinkedIn, but if I wanted my LinkedIn, I could just turn it on and put the URL in. My Facebook, my Instagram. Didn't care about my Google+. I definitely like my YouTube there. Pinterest. Anyone use that anymore? Just joking. Flickr, 500px, so forth and so on. So, and of course your own custom website. I've got that in there as well, my own blog. All right, so you just turn on the ones you want, edit the URL to what you want it to be, or what it's, to that particular site, and it will use the appropriate icon for it. So unfortunately, it would be nice if there was a custom here, where like the last one is custom and you can put in whatever URL and you can upload whatever icon you want it, but it just unfortunately does not work that way. All right, you can also choose the social media style. So I've got icon only. You can use, here, let me try one of these. Circle, that's kind of cool. Square, not cool, I don't like square. Rounded, I'm not a fan of rounded. So I would either use circle, which I like. I think I'll stick with circle. And you could use, of course, just the icon. Now, once I chose that, I can then go in and pick the colors that I want. So if I don't want that background color, maybe I want, or that foreground color for the actual logo, I can pick that. And then I can also pick the background opacity and image color as well. So for example, this will bring up all the colors. And then I can maybe pick, looking at my blues here, maybe pick something like that. Hit done, and that should be my normal state. Let's try done. Yeah, okay, it did change, it just didn't preview it. All right, and now, of course, if I wanted those to be different, I can just go back in at any given time, click the edit button, go back to customize, and say, no, 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 what was I thinking? The gray was just fine. And then that will make them gray. Now, if you want to change how they look as you roll over them, then you can do that as well. So for example, if I wanted a different color for the rollover, I can pick that for the rollover, and now they're red when you roll over them, but they're blue when they're normal. So this is all, again, that little nitpicking thing that you can do for the site. Some things let you get into every little detail, some things are a little more restricted. But you can, in many areas, you can get in and really customize it. Migrate the account. Okay, so Simon's asking, if I have two accounts, one with Creative Cloud subscription and one without, am I able to migrate the account which doesn't have the subscription? You mean move the portfolio over to the one that doesn't have the subscription? You or I don't have the ability to do that. It would have to be something that would be done with customer service, if it can be done at all. I'm not even sure it can be done, but if it can be done, they would have to do it. All right, next up. Well, thank you, Alcia. I appreciate the compliment, and hello, Matt in Texas. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get into adding projects. Now, I come from the photography background, so I don't think projects, I think galleries. I think, portfolios and galleries of images. But we use the terminology project because this isn't just for photographers, obviously. This could be for designers, it could be for videographers, it could be for anyone that really wants a portfolio. So when you click Add Project, if you're a photographer, turn on your brain that means gallery. So if I click Add Project, then I can give that project a new name, and I can call this my Landscapes Portfolio. All right. Once I create that project, then it's going to come up and ask me, where do you want to get the content from that goes in this project? And this is where you can really start to get content from a few different places. For example, if you've got the files exported out on your hard drive and you just want to upload them directly, click on Files and it'll bring up your file system. So you would go ahead and click on each image that you wanted to bring into it. I think you might be able to even do multiple images. I know you can from the Lightroom side. If you want to add some text first before you start adding in your content, you can do it after the fact, but you can add in the text. And what this embed option is for is because Portfolio doesn't support uploading videos directly, because then we'd have to get into the whole hosting the video, converting the video, making the video playback okay, and so forth and so on. We just use a simple embed instead. So if you want to put a video in your portfolio, you're welcome to it. The video has to be hosted somewhere where you can get the embed code, like YouTube or Vimeo or any other video hosting site where you can get the embed code, and then you would click embed, paste your embed code in, and then your video would be in that spot. And again, like I said, I'll skip Lightroom for now because I'm going to come right back to it. But CC Files, that will take you to your Creative Cloud Files area where you can bring stuff in directly that you have on Creative Cloud. And last but not least is something brand new. It's a photo grid, which instead of showing a single image that people click on and then see all the images, this just lets them see that grid up front. So that's a brand new option that was added. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to Lightroom, because that's where I'm going to pull my images in from. And this is only, of course, it'd be great if it could talk to Lightroom Desktop and pull in everything, but it's only able to pull in anything that I've already synced to Lightroom Mobile. So for example, I've already synced my Landscapes portfolio over, and if we give it a second to update, it will start to show us those images. I'm going to go ahead and say switch over to my custom order as well. And in a few seconds, we should see the rest of those thumbnails as it's starting to load in my 15,000 images I have totally synced over to Lightroom Mobile. And if I didn't want to wait, I don't have to wait. I can just start clicking on them because I want them all anyway. But if I wait long enough, it will fill in those last three, or I can just say, you know what, just go ahead and give them all to me, and then it will pull them over as well. So let's go ahead, and I think there might even be a select all, maybe not. Okay, so I'm just grabbing the images that I have already on Lightroom Mobile for my landscapes, and then I'll go ahead and say import. Now, once I import, the nice part about doing that is it should be pretty quick, because it's one cloud talking to another cloud. I'm not uploading these files. These files are already in the cloud. So it's just pulling them in from Lightroom Mobile, and away they go. So they come in nice and long. No definitive answer for that, but what I would say is that you think about the displays that are out today, the biggest ones, and right now people can have up to technically an 8K monitor, but I would say in general use 4K, 5K monitors. So these are no bigger than Lightroom Mobile, so they're 2048 pixels on the widest or longest edge. I would probably double that if I were going to upload my own. I'd probably make them at least 4,000 pixels on the largest edge. I think you will even hit a wall or a limit that we don't accept anything, I think, over 5,000 pixels big, or I'm sorry, not 5 megapixels, but there's a limit on the size. So again, keep that in mind. The ones coming over from Lightroom Mobile are no bigger than 2048 anyway. If you want to go bigger than that, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you go too big, you can hit a wall with that, with going too large. And it will tell you, hey, your images are too large. All right, so the next thing is, you see there's step 1, step 2, step 3. So step 2 would be continue. And it wants a cover image. This is the image that people will see when they go to the galleries page. they'll see landscapes portfolio and they'll see an image. So this is me picking what that image would be. So I can pick, it doesn't have to be the first one. I can pick whatever I think should be the cover image. And then once I pick it, I can go ahead and crop it or move it around in the crop area to my heart's content, and go ahead and crop and continue. So that's just, I'm not cropping the regular image, I'm just cropping the one that will be used as the cover. All right, next, let's go ahead and choose anything else we want. So for example, it's got the title that we already typed in. I can put in a description, then people will see that description before they click on it. I can put in a project date, and again, project thinking more of maybe a trip or a specific project that you created a specific date and time. You can put that in. So for example, well, this is landscape, so this isn't a particular trip, this is ongoing, so I'm not gonna worry about changing the date. You can put in a custom field, for example, optional for your project cover. I believe what this means is if people hover over it, a custom field that you can tailor to your needs. You can optionally add this to the project cover to introduce okay. All right, let's do that. Keywords to make it a little bit more searchable. I'm not going to bother with that, but let's go ahead and just say landscapes and so forth and so on, and we'll put in keywords. And then we're going to go ahead, if the content was adult content, I can check the box, but it's not. So we'll go ahead and say create the project. And I saw the progress bar going across the top, and it is creating the project, and I can either go back home or back to the editor. So if I go back to the editor, I just want to show off a couple more features. The other thing you can do is you notice that, again, it brought in the images, kept them in the custom order, which was great. But as I hover over each image, the pencil is still there. And if I click the pencil, what that will let me do are these things. So for example, if I want to rearrange the images, even though they came in the order I wanted them in, but if I did want to rearrange them, I can. So I can say, you know what? I really think that this image should go before that one, and I can save the new order. And I like that it gives it to you in a nice smaller window, so you're not scrolling up and down a long window trying to figure out what the order should be. All right, so we'll say save order. That's been done. And it just literally flipped the order of those images around. And we can also go in and say, if you want to add alt text for the individual images, again, making them more accessible, more accessibility standards. You can also add a link to the images. You can add captions. And see if there's anything else. Replace image would be the option if you, for example, we're going to talk about this later, but when it comes time to update your portfolio, just simply replace an image with a newer one if you want, or you can always add more content. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I want to add a caption. And when I say add caption, it puts the cursor right above the image that I clicked on, or right below. I can't remember which one I did. But let's go ahead and say, beautiful morning in Iceland as we drove to the next site. Okay, so once again, I'm done typing that, so I'll just say update the project and either back to the editor or back home. So I'm going to go back home this time, and now my landscapes portfolio is there. So if I go back to galleries, so even though I haven't published the site, it's acting like it's live now. I can go ahead and click on anything to see anything. And at that point, it is here, and as I hover over it, it says Landscapes Portfolio 2017, because I did not change the date. If I had changed the date, it would say whatever year it was. And hello, Transylvania, how are you? And yes, nice, Egypt, I love Egypt. All right, so let's go ahead and rinse and repeat. If I want to add a new project, I can add a new project. I can call this one, for example, fashion portfolio. Create project. And same things apply. I'm going to go get them from Lightroom. Sadly, it does not remember where it left off, so I kind of got to do that dance of going down to the right collection. We're going to go down to portfolios, And we're going to go up to fashion, and we're going to say that I want my custom order. And again, I don't have to wait for the thumbnails to build. If I know I want them all, I can go ahead and just start bringing them in, or if I wait a few seconds, it will bring in those thumbnails. So let's just say we know we're going to pick this one, 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 and this one. I can pick them all, but you get the idea. Import, and away they come in. So same thing, once they come in, we hit continue. What do I want to be my project cover? Actually, that's a pretty cool one right there. If I have a different one, I can pick a different one. But let's go ahead and pick that one as is. Again, I can zoom in or zoom out. I can change the crop. And we don't want to cut off her hand, but there we go. Crop and continue. And fashion portfolio, same things apply. Do I want to give a description? Do I want to give it a custom project cover? Optional for the project cover, or keywords, so forth and so on. So all right, let's go ahead and click create project. And we can go back home. And there's my fashion portfolio, which people would be able to see gigantic images. Nice and big. And again, if your project doesn't require the images to be that large, then you can pick a different layout, or you can customize. I believe you can customize the container. So I'm on the project container. I'm not clicking on an individual photo. I'm on the overall project container. Let's see if we go to customize if we have any options there. And we do not for this particular one. We can change the container width. We can do that. But that's not really what I want. If we go right margin too. Oh, okay, yeah, we could get around it this way. If we wanted your images smaller, you can get around it by just changing the container's settings. So this way I can make the images smaller just by giving it more margin on the sides. And it will optimize the images accordingly, and we'll click done. So oh shoot, I didn't mean to update the live site. So I clicked update the live site. Now it's making those changes live. I thought I was clicking on update the project. So it's asking me, hey, you updated it. Do you want to share it on Behance? And it's live. It's ready to go. No thanks. I'm not done yet. But it's okay that it went live. At least at this point, I've got something there. All right, so let's go back. Even clicking the logo takes us back home. And again, we've got our projects in so far. And at this point, now let's explore. You kind of get the idea of projects. Let's go explore some other options. All right, so now let's go ahead and go to manage content. And this is the thing I love about managed content, because managed content shows you everything that you've got the ability to bring in. And what I mean by that is, wait a minute. Where's all this stuff coming from? Where's this 4th of July fireworks, Europe 2015, so forth and so on? Where's all that stuff? Why can I simply turn one of those on and bring them in? Because we also look at your projects on Behance. So these are actually all my Behance projects. If I wanted to add any one of these to my portfolio, I don't have to build it from scratch. I can just go ahead and just simply turn it on, and now that project's there. So if you've already put stuff on Behance, making it into or adding it into your portfolio is literally a single click. You just come to the managed content, and whichever ones you want to be in your portfolio, you turn on. And what I love this too is that I think when you first start, now that I can remember back to when I first created this, it will even ask you, do you want to bring over all your Behance portfolios? And I said no, because just because I put something up on Behance doesn't mean it's portfolio worthy. That doesn't mean it necessarily belongs in my portfolio. My portfolio I would look at as my best work, my work that I'd want to show off. I don't always want to show off, some random projects I might have been working on throughout the year in my portfolio. So I said, no, don't show anything, and I'll go in and specifically turn on any ones that I want, like I just did. So that's one way. You also notice that there's an About Me page. So you automatically get an About Me page, which you can turn on and turn off. You automatically get a Contact Me page, I believe, which you can turn on and turn off. If you don't get them automatically, just simply click Add Content. When you add content, this is where you can go in and add those extra pages. So this is where you can go in and add. What's the difference between Behance and Portfolio? Behance is about sharing what I like to call projects and work in progress. So I know people that post to Behance every time they do something. So they work on a campaign at work, they post it to Behance. They work on a photo shoot, they post it to Behance. They work on whatever, they post it to Behance. So Behance is our social network for creatives. That's what Behance is. Your portfolio is what you're saying to the world is, hey, come look at my work. This is what I want to show off. So technically, some people just use their Behance as their portfolio. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to show off. But your portfolio, the way I look at it is best of the best. I pick and choose things that go in the portfolio, whereas Behance, I might throw something up every day that isn't necessarily the best of the best, but it's kind of just communicating with other creatives, getting likes and appreciations and things like that, comments, those same kinds of things you'd post on social media. So Behance for social media, portfolio for portfolio. And there's nothing wrong with using your Behance as your portfolio, but this way you get to consolidate it down to just the things you want to show, and you get to customize it. People can go to your portfolio without seeing all the other noise that Behance has around your page. This is just about you, not about Behance. Okay, so let's say I want to go in and, for example, on Behance, I don't have custom pages like my contact page, about page, and so forth and so on. So I can go in and I added the Contact Me. I'm going to go ahead and add a link to an external page. So I'm going to say my blog. And even though I've got a link to the blog in the social media area, I'm just going to go ahead and add it again anyway. And I'm going to go ahead, and by the way, once you add it, you can move it around. So I think it added it to the end, which is fine. And there it is, my blog already up there. I'm going to go ahead and add one more. And let's add in another link. My other photography. Because I don't have everything here yet, so I'm going to give people the link to get to my other photography. And that would be at terrywhitephotography.com. So maybe you add a link to your corporate site. Maybe you add a link to your video page on YouTube or whatever, even though you have it in social media. Maybe you add basically any other site you want people to be able to go to. You can add that. Now, once I go there, let me go to the contact page. On the contact page, one of the pieces of content you can add to this page is the actual content or contact form. So if it's not there already, which I don't know if it puts it there automatically, but if not, you can go ahead and just simply click Add Content, and one of your choices will be, or Manage Content, I should say, one of your choices will be to put the contact form in. So let me go ahead and go to, yeah, so I've customized this and said, let me know about your potential photography needs, edit page content, and yeah, this is where you can go in and then customize the form itself. So I can go to customize the form, I can add more fields if I need to collect more information than just their name, email address, and web address. Maybe I want their phone number. So I can go ahead and say, you know what, I need a field. Let's go ahead and edit the label. We'll call it phone. And yep, that'll be a text field. And I think you can, yeah, you can even make it required. So I don't need to, I wouldn't necessarily make this one required, but I would absolutely make the email required if it wasn't already required, which it is. Mandatory field, and text is also required. And so the first three are required. The name, email, and message, but the phone is optional. So now when I click done, that becomes a extra field. And of course, there's one more thing I want to do. Let's go to reorder page. And nope, not the page, but I want to reorder the form itself. If I can do that, customize. Let's put phone above message. There we go, done. All right, so now that I've got that in place, and the little stars let me know that those are mandatory, but the phone is not. Can you add any animation? There's no animation features built in. These are pretty much static pages. I don't know of any way that you would add animation without necessarily just adding an embed to a video or something that people can look at that way. Someone has said, can you use the embed earlier for like embedding a whole web page or website into it? It's not really designed for that. It's really designed for embedding your media content in your projects. All right, so now I've got my other pages in there. And by the way, this is what the About Me looks like. This is the one left over from the other one, where I just put in some text and an image. But there, you can write on and on and on. So you can have a whole description about yourself. You can also maybe create a custom page about your services and the price list and so forth and so on. So this could be your entire website. Or it could just be your portfolio. It's really up to your needs. I know people that have come up to me and said, oh my God, thanks for showing me portfolio because I was paying for another site somewhere else. And now because I'm already getting this with Creative Cloud, you just saved me all that money I was paying to have a site somewhere else because this fit their needs. This was all they needed to be able to do. Now, speaking of that, what if I did want to make this my whole site? What if I wanted people to just come here for everything? Then in that case, one of the things I would do is go to Edit Settings, and I would go to Domain Name, and I would, right now, you get to pick your name for whatever .myportfolio.com, but if I went out and bought a domain like terrywhite.com, which I own, then I could go ahead and have my DNS records point to this site for my domain. So I put in whatever that domain name is going to be, go to my domain provider. We don't sell the domains. You can go buy those wherever you buy domains from, and point the DNS for that particular domain here, put it in here, and now that domain points to this portfolio. While we're here on the settings page, so this is one of the other things that's kind of cool, you get to pick what you want your landing page to be. So for example, when someone goes to terrywhite.myportfolio.com, where do they go? What does it bring up first? So by default, it'll bring up what I call galleries. I renamed that, by the way. It used to say projects, so I renamed it to galleries. But it brings up galleries first. But if I wanted it to go to a specific project or custom or something else, then I would choose whatever I wanted that to be. Analytics. If you have Google Analytics, you can put that code in here so you get analytics from Google on how many people visit your site. We talked about domain name already. You can put in search optimization, keywords and metadata, tags, and things that will make your site more findable on the internet. And favorite icons. So for example, you can upload an image. If I go to my photography website, you'll see what one of those looks like because I've got one there. Did we lose a connection somewhere? All right, if you look in the tab, hang on one second here. All right, if you look here in the tab, so even when I'm not on that page, if I go back to portfolio, my picture is still in that tab. So that could be a picture, it could be a logo, it could be whatever you want. That's called a favorite icon or a favicon, and this is where you would put the one for your portfolio site. So you'd upload an image, and that you'd be able to preview it and see what that image looks like. So when people bookmark or go to your site, that's what they would see. There's even a choice for a web clip icon. So this is pretty cool because, as you know, like on iOS devices, you can bookmark the site. You can bookmark on your home page where the site goes just by saving it to the home page. So one of the things you can do, hang on for a second here. One of the things you can do is you can actually put that image in of whatever you want that bookmark icon to be. So that way when someone bookmarks your site, that's the icon that gets saved to their desktop. All right, let's go on. And site options. These are all pretty basic, but enable extended character support for typekit fonts is kind of a checkbox that's relatively new. Also the ability to disable or right-click protect your images. Now there is no true, real protection of images. People can always screenshot, people can always do everything that they want to do, including removing your watermark from the images if they really want them. But this is just one extra little thing to keep people from just literally dragging your images off to their desktop. But like for example, disable right-click only works on desktops. It does not really work on mobile devices. Next thing is password protection. I mentioned this earlier, the ability to password protect the entire site. So no one go to look at your portfolio without the password. Password protect individual whole site or individual pages and or galleries. And you can choose which pages to protect. Unpublish the portfolio means, hey, I don't want this up there anymore. I'm doing something, I'm working on it. Unpublish it, and of course your account information. All right, so at this point, if I now update the live site one more time, you'll be able to go to terrywhite.myportfolio.com to see what I've done and to see the changes that I've made thus far. All right, it looks like we lost part of the feed over there. Let's go over here and see what's going on. See if I can bring it back. All right, so it says my site's live, so I can view my site. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's view the site. And there it is. So that's the current version of my portfolio. Now at any given time, I can always go back in. I can always change the layout. I can always change the projects, add more projects, delete projects, do what I want on the project side. I always have the ability to go in and if I need to unpublish the site temporarily, maybe maybe there's something I need to do that I don't want people necessarily seeing while I do it. But even if you make a lot of changes and you're not ready to publish, just don't publish the site yet. So you can always make changes. Now, one of the things I want to try, I have not tried this with a live audience yet, so don't blame me if it fails. No, just kidding. What if I decide to switch layouts on the fly? What if I decide, hey, I kind of like that dark theme. Maybe I just want to change my mind. If I hit continue editing, now it's changing over my entire site to that other design that I had before. So the layouts or the projects remain the same, the social media remains the same, the pages remain the same, but now it would have this look and feel to it. So it kind of shifted everything. This background image was there from before when I worked on this particular layout, but everything else is there. So the only thing I might change in this case, so I might customize the style. And let's see here. Height, width, that's all fine. Not the background image, maybe the page titles. Let's drop the size of these bad boys down. They're a little big. Maybe go down to 14 point. Still big. Maybe 12 point. There we go. Oh yeah, 12 point. Now, the other thing that caught me off guard one time, I spent like 10 minutes trying to fix this. I was trying to fix a rollover on my links, and only some of them were changing and some of them weren't. Like there was one that just wouldn't change. And then I realized page titles and gallery titles are separate. So they have their own separate settings for everything, including point sizes and rollovers. And links is separate. So I'd have to go change all three to make them consistent to be the same. So keep that in mind. It's not just the text in that bar, it's specific text for page titles, gallery titles, and links. And then now I've got that done. For example, the only other thing, let me see if this one allows for a logo. Like I said, some of these don't allow for a logo. Oops, wrong thing. Hang on. Oops, and I didn't mean to zoom in. Help. View. Go back to actual size. Thank you. All right, let's go back down. Say done. Yeah, see, this is one of those that did not allow for a custom logo at the top. I think that was one of the reasons I switched. Or I just got tired of the black background and switched to a different one. So totally up to you. But anyway, I think I will now go back. And let's see, we were on, not Lucas, not Sawdust. We were on Thomas. Let's go back to Thomas. And we'll go back to Thomas, and it's all there. So once you use a layout, it remembers everything about that layout you've customized, so you can switch back and forth. And I can switch back and forth all day long, and no one gets affected until I click Update Live Site. So because I didn't update the live site, when I switched temporarily to the black background, no one saw it but me. I can experiment with it, play with it for days until I'm ready to go. Once I'm ready to go, click the Update Live Site, and then everyone sees it. All right, that is my portfolio, which is part of your Adobe Creative Cloud that you're already paying for. It's already there. It's already part of your membership. Even if you're on a photography plan, you got access to this. Oh, one more thing. I said I would do this. What if I decide, for example, in a fashion portfolio, I know I did not put them all in there. What if I decide to replace this image? If I want to replace a particular image, let's go to Edit Project Content. There we go. There is a Replace Image command, which is kind of nice because it will, bring up the file system and let me replace it. That's the thing I don't like about this particular feature, and I've asked for this to be updated for months now. Well, where did I get that image from? I got it from Lightroom. I don't want to replace it with one that's on my hard drive, although I could. I would like to get the replacement from Lightroom. So unfortunately, the only way to do that would be to first delete this image, then add an image from Lightroom, add media, go find your replacement, and now I know it goes above the one with the woman on the brown background. Go to my portfolio fashion, and let's say I want to replace it with this one, import. It's going to put it at the bottom because it's new. And then I'd have to go in and reorder and remember where it belongs and reorder it above that one. So it's a few extra steps when it shouldn't be. Like replace image should just literally let me go back to Lightroom and replace it with one from Lightroom. Even better yet, let me sync to a Lightroom collection. Then I'd be in heaven. But in the meantime, it's not the end of the world. Pretty easy, pretty quick. And once you're done, update the project and back home. And then once you're really done, once you're really ready to go live, update the live site. And now it's making all of my changes live. Her's asking, what if my Creative Cloud subscription ends? Can I convert the portfolio to another account? That's up to customer service. As I mentioned earlier, someone asked a similar question. I don't know of any way for a user to move a portfolio from one site to or one account to another, or your subscription ends and maybe you're working for a company now and they're giving it to you. I don't know of any way on your end or my end of doing that as a consumer. It would have to be something that customer service, if they can even do it. I'm not promising that they can, but they would have to do it for you if they can. Because I've never checked to see if portfolios can be moved from account to account. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and wrap things up. So the next thing I want to do is I want to, first of all, remind you that starting tomorrow at adobelive.com, The 3-day stream starts. We do these every other week. So this one's going to be in San Francisco. This one's all about graphic design. And rather than me tell you about it, why don't you just go ahead and watch this. All right, so join us tomorrow at adobelive.com and check out the 3-day stream. It goes on all day Pacific time from, I believe, like 9 in the morning to 5 in the evening. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Check out the designers and what they have to offer. And with that said, I'll be back on tomorrow, not on YouTube, but I'll be on Facebook on Creative Cloud at 1 p.m. 10 a.m. Pacific time, doing portfolio reviews. And if you haven't submitted your portfolio to be reviewed, there's still time to do that. You can head over to